My name is Liz Jangyol. I'm a 19-year-old and a full-time student at Buena Vista University.
My name is Anna Pidor, and I am a 22-year-old, and I'm currently working at Buena Vista Regional Medical Center and a part-time student at Iowa Central Community College for nursing. People in America would probably call us famous back then, like, because we had everything. My family had everything when we were there. We had like a little farm by the river, and that farm was specifically just for the corn. And then we had a really, really big farm up in the jungle, and that farm mostly was just for Pacific newer crops that was growing there. Then we have a mini garden on our backyard that my mom would grow pumpkins and beans, all kind of beans, for the summertime to come. And then.
My name is Joan Spooner. I'm the Beebe County Center Director for Upper Des Moines Opportunity Incorporated here in Storm Lake. This happened on a sunny day in September, and someone ran a stop sign, and I went into the ditch with all the children in the bus. No one was killed. There were some injuries, but it just kind of put a damper on my driving.
We are originally from Sudan.
South Sudan.
South Sudan. Alcoba.
I call it land of milk and honey according to me because we had cattle there, just before our grandpa died, because he was like the head of the household, since this now it's South Sudan. Before it was just an entire country, as the Sudan. And then that's what was causing a lot of wars between the South and the North, which was Muslims and the Christians, and then and then it caused a lot of wars. And then ever since then, we moved to Kenya when Liz and I were very young with our parents. And then that was in a refugee camp. That was back in '98. And then when we've tried to come back home in 2001, it was not peace at all. There was war. It was people getting killed. Our grandpa died, and then it was just in a place for us anymore. So our parents decided to move.
It wasn't really our dad's choice, for us, to come to America. It was our uncle downstairs. So now he know that over there it wasn't that good place for us to get education. So he decided to bring us along with our grandmother. But me, I wouldn't even be here because they were gonna leave me. They were gonna leave me, so they didn't put me in a form. It was just my son, her and my younger sister, then my grandma, and then our cousin. But our cousin, due to the situation of the family matter, her dad couldn't let her come. So instead, they put me in her place. So that's how I ended up being here.
My mom and dad both worked, or at least it seemed like we had anything we wanted. I'm sure we weren't rich, but we had, plenty of food, and my dad was a farmer, and I got married at 16, had a baby at 17. Everything was fine. My husband had a job. He was 19, had a decent job. We were not in poverty at that point. He got hurt at work. He broke his back, and that kind of put us on a roll. He couldn't work, and in those days, this was in '67 or '68. You didn't sue the company that you worked for. You didn't go on disability. You just struggled. And about 2 years after our first child was born, we had another child. And I got a job with Upper Des Moines driving a school bus. Did not have a diploma. And so I had a 10th grade education, and I got the job driving the school bus and cooking in the kitchen. And that lasted about 4 years, and then I decided I had a car accident with the children on the bus.
Coldness, the winter, but what made it even worse is that our uncle, after a week, when we got here, he put us into school. We know nothing about English, not even how to say eyes. So it was like kind of difficult for us like to just go and sit down in the classroom, not knowing what are you doing whatsoever. Other than that, time got better and we learned English, so we understand what people are saying. So it got more easier for us.
At the end of the year, I decided I was going to do something different. I ended up getting my high school diploma, and then there was a job opening with Upper Des Moines that offered job training through the CETA program, but it was only an 18-month program. So I was hired for that job, and then at the end of the 18 months, they didn't have funding to keep me, so I lost my job. So I was unemployed again for another 8 months or so. They came across some funding, Upper Des Moines did, and then they rehired me to work as the office aide in the office. In that period of time when I came back as the office aide, I was there for about 4 years, and then the center director at that time was offered a different position with Upper Des Moines, and so I interviewed for her job and got her job. I've been here ever since with the same job as the center director, and things have changed drastically from the time I started this job till now.
After I graduated high school, May of 2012, I became a United States citizen of September of 2012, which was a great milestone for me. Right after high school, I got my citizenship. And then I had my daughter February 2013, which was, a life-changing for me in a great way. When we first came, like we had to reside with he's like our grandpa. He's like a grandpa figure to us. So we had to be in his house for like about 3 months of period when we first moved into Storm Lake with grandma, because that's when we were looking for the apartment, and they had to wait for grandma papers to get approved, and then we reside in that building, not this one. That's when, like back March 2011, that's when grandma finally got a 2-bedroom, apartment, and then we moved in, and then Liz started as a freshman here in Storm Lake.
Upper Des Moines' mission is we are dedicated to building partnerships and effectively helping low-income families and individuals. People don't realize that we have homeless in this area. You think of the large cities where people are sleeping in boxes and that, but we have homeless here, and we have a homeless apartment that we operate, that Upper Des Moines operates. We serve anybody from 0 to 100. There aren't any age barriers for us. We have different programs for different individuals. In the fiscal year 13-14, we served 764 unduplicated households. And unduplicated means if they come in for more than one service, they're still only counted once. Latino population for that year was 972 individuals. We had 1,794 Caucasians, 145 African Americans, 109 Pacific Islanders.
Storm Lake been good for us. It reminds us of home a lot. The places we lived before, there's no farms. It was more like, OMG, this is American life. There's nothing like home. But when we moved into Storm Lake, there was no gigantic buildings. Everything, it's like we just went into a town in Africa. Everything is just so normal. There's a big lake, there's fish there sometimes, reminds us of home. And, there's corn here, and there's a lot of opportunities here in town. I got a job right away at the hospital, which is very rare for just a nursing assistant to work at the hospital. I got hired as a mental health tech, which I've been enjoying. So it's a great milestone for me. Instead of me working at a nursing home, I am working at the hospital, and I get to experience a lot of hands-on. This year, really, the Habitat came along, which, was very, very unexpectedly. And until this day, I still don't know how to express how we both feel, or how I feel personally myself, and how just, just seems like every year we're every year we're getting something better out of America.
Every day is different. It's not like a warehouse or a factory job where you know what you're going to do every day. When you come here, you never know. Everything is different. You know, the laws are not the same in different countries. So you have a lot of things that you have to deal with that, you know, 30, 40 years ago just didn't exist for us. And so we have a full-time Hispanic interpreter here all the time, but it is the only language that we have that isn't English. So what happens for us is that, you know, if somebody comes in and they're Sudanese and we don't speak Sudanese, we either have to find someone that can speak the language or they bring their children. And that doesn't always go so well to have the kids translate, but sometimes it's the only option we have.
Finally, like I was so happy when I heard about it because I didn't even know Hannah was doing the Habitat thing with Jay. So until Jay came here for my younger sister's birthday, so we were here blowing out the candle for the cake, and then Jay and his wife came, and then I was telling Hannah the news, and then we were all was just this is a mind blowing. We didn't actually believe it.
I just didn't want to talk about it when there's nothing yet, because they had to do 3 other families, and I was the last on their mind, I'm pretty sure. So, and then Jay kept me updated about, you know, which family they're looking forward to. And I wasn't the first yet, you know, so I was like, no problem, you know, because I know I wasn't expecting it, you know. And then that was just 2 days before my daughter's birthday, you know, they came here, and then, you know, they got all of us here. Like she said, it was my younger sister's birthday, and we had a little cake here over my place, and we were doing a birthday for her. And then Jay and his wife just popped in here, and my sister with her friends, and Liz with her friends, and me, and they're like, you have time? I said, yeah. And then they just blew up the news that we have exciting news for you guys, that you guys gonna get the house. And I couldn't just jump up and down yay, we got the house, you know, and I just couldn't cry, and I just couldn't, I really didn't know how I was feeling that minute. My mind had to take a break from it a little. And the girls were like, oh my God, that's amazing, we're gonna get a house. And I'm just like, I think so, yeah, we're getting a house.
Immigrants that are coming, the safe part, because there is so much conflict in many of the places that they're coming from. You know, I guess the better life, you know, and feeling safe is just what they're hoping for here, and they chose the right place. We
finally have something to finally call home, somewhere we can settle down and say I'm going home. Instead instead of saying I'm going to the apartment.
That's what I call American dream coming true. You know, if we're gonna get a house, you know, I could care less what happens in my life after that. You know, I think just it's amazing that we're gonna have enough room. We're gonna have a house that we're gonna call a home.